Hello and welcome to your Part 6 ACCA SBL Examination September 2024 Tutor Analysis video. My name is James, welcome to my channel. Feel free to subscribe because I'm going to take you through my top tips in this video along with my other free resources to help you pass your exam. And in this video, I'm going to go through the exclusive SBL notes. If you'd like access to them, click the link in the description of this video and you can download them, put them on your phone, show off to your friends, I do not mind. And in addition to that, I'm delighted to say I'm actually associated with Astranti, where you can access their free analysis SBL pack along with mocks and other resources. If you were to actually buy any of their resources through the links in the description of this video, I'd be entitled to a small commission as a result that goes to supporting the channel. But it's for pure transparency, so you guys all know, as these can be the little things to get you over the line for that 50 plus to pass your SBL examination. These are the exclusive notes, as you can see on the screen. Make sure you go back and check out the full playlist. I go through absolutely everything in as much detail as possible, again, so that you can pick up on as many marks in your exam. But let's now start with part 4 on here, where we've got the Beago website extracts, that again, highly examinable areas, and things as well in terms of the mission, the vision and the values for your notes that I would directly quote on the exam day if you find a point or you have a discussion or that you're asked to evaluate something that either agrees or disagrees with that mission, vision or values on there. Let's just go through them one by one. In terms of the mission, that it relates to providing communities with affordable, accessible and sustainable transport. Well, there's nothing to go against that mission that we've seen so far, but on the exam day, that of course could change. They offer services at a reasonable price across Beeland, 250 cities as we've been told. But I've got in my notes the biggest risk to breaking the mission from the preceding information is sustainable transport on there. But Beago are offering solutions like electric car options for their customers, but it's because of the type of business it is. It's involving cars, it's involving emissions, it's an Uber-based business on there. So it is going to impact on the environment. In terms of the vision, you could link a point to actually diversifying their income streams here. As we're told, a world where transport and technology work seamlessly to bring people, businesses and communities together. And I went, Beago on there saying, our world. Well, Beago only actually operate in Beeland. So is this a sort of SWOT analysis opportunity factor that actually expanding overseas, and we could refer back to the vision point here. Again, something I'd get down in your notes and be specific to their point on the world. Values is another interesting one where they say on here, our ethical code of conduct, okay, ensures we maintain our focus. High ethical and professional standards, safety of our customers, drivers and communities we work in. So it could refer to a stakeholder analysis on there, internal and external to the business. Applying ACCA's code of ethics here back to the scenario and questioning the values is going to be really key for picking up on those professional skills marks. But the thing that really stood out to me is they say our ethical code of conduct. And I went, what ethical code of conduct? You have no ethical code of conduct provided for by Beago in the preceding information. So something to get down in your notes that could come up, and where would that relate to on there? We're on to now committed to safety and committed to the environment, but this is something from an exam technique point of view, especially if you're doing SBL for the first time. Please expect things to go wrong on the exam day for Beago. It's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows on there. And when we're looking at some of the points on here for safety, we've been given that they do annual background checks on there for drivers carried out by a third party, but we don't know who the third party is. And in terms of, we may get more information on the exam day about this, but why are the checks not continuous like the criminal record monitoring you can see in the point below? Why is it annual? Because there could be a delay, a lag in actually identifying if someone who was driving for Beago, who we do not want them to be representing the company. We've got on there, but what about the delay in terms of convictions and systems? Again, thinking from a data and ethical point of view, Just think if you were a customer who got in a taxi with someone who actually had an actual criminal record on there, which the company, through their third party, were not on top of. How is this checked through in terms of the safety program that the drivers actually go through on there? Again, I'm thinking from a practical sense that they're going to put these areas in your exam to test if students have been through, who's been through the preceding information, so you know about the driver's app and the customer's app, especially if you've been through All My Analysis. There is great security on there, friends and family notifications. Most of our drivers' vehicles have been equipped with cameras on there, so and it records Rise to protect both customers and drivers. And it says partnered with several on there. So I'm there going, okay, several, and how many, if not, or how effective in terms of these cameras are they about putting that into play? Like, what actually goes on with this? But the key bit, I always refer to key notes, and let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do a video just on key notes that you could quote, is data privacy and the storage and uses of customers' data is a top priority on there. So if you got anything on the exam day that went against that, make sure you refer to that quote of top priority. And they also have here where you see another key word of, we also expect our cloud service provider to operate with the same standards in terms of protecting and managing our customers' personal data. So that's not in Beago's control. It's a pestle potential legal factor, a technology factor there that maybe there could be a fine, maybe there could be a lawsuit, we don't know, but it's a case of it could come up on your exam day, so you need to be aware of it. Driver satisfaction has been below 80% for the last 5 years, and this is one of those statements that you go, at the end of each ride, drivers and customers must rate their ride. Any customer or driver who submits a rating below an 80% satisfaction is prompted to provide more details. And you go, well, it's been below 80% for 5 years. What happens with these details? What actually goes to continually improving the service on there? In terms of the environment, again, pestle analysis for the theory, the environmental factors. We've been given those two stakeholder groups, the government and communities, that you should refer to about the towns and cities that the harmful emissions go into. We encourage customers to select share rides and micro-mobility options. Again, steadily increasing on the micro-mobility options, but the shared rides are dropping on there. But how are they encouraging customers? It's more to do with the preferences of those customers, and we really need more information as to why. And lastly, we continue to invest further in our micro-mobility infrastructure across Beeland. Now that's an interesting point because they currently only operate in about, I think it was about 90 or 100 cities, and they operate for the cars in 250. So that 11% revenue, I think, could only go up if they really put their full focus into it. We're coming on to the final parts now in terms of could we actually recommend features such as a loyalty scheme on there. There are no targets set for environmental KPIs by Beago on here. Again, could be something from an environmental pestle analysis. No information about how Beago incentivizes both drivers and the customers, maybe on a loyalty scheme. And they touch on here about such as assisting our drivers in making contact with electric car rental businesses. But Beago has 0% sales of the service customer rental. So it's one of those sort of statements you go, but we're not operating in that sort of sector. Again, could be an opportunity for us to look at in a bit more detail. The KPI diagrams at the bottom are really interesting now. To bear in mind, for Zembi's equivalent KPIs and details, we could be provided on the exam day. Again, I don't have a crystal ball, but you're trying to read between the lines here to say, well, we've been given the revenues increasing year on year, the active customers is going up year on year as well. So maybe we could be given the same figures as for Zembi, our main competitor, in terms of revenue. To get down from that diagram in 2003, it looks like we could be possibly hitting $1 billion, 1,000 million there in 2004, just to be aware of, not to get your units mixed up. Don't get too worried about getting the figures and everything exactly right. So for the active users, saying that it's gone over 50 million in 2003 is perfectly fine. But as we know from Ed and Kim on page 7, it's predicted to rise to 90 million in 2004. growing, but customers need to be retained and nurtured. So active customers are going up, but we need to look after them. Loyalty programs, as I've mentioned before. Rides completed, we don't really have too much more to go on, apart from it's a positive increase, something for you to refer to, where they could be actually about to hit 100 million. But the percentage of revenue per service is the interesting one about, well, as you're aware, we've already got the ride hailing, the normal service is being the largest one. And we've got on there the business services has increased in the last 2 years from that contract. Looks pretty profitable, so that could be increasing or an opportunity into the future. There's no service customer through rental cars on there. So again, 0%. Maybe Zenby holds most of this in terms of the market, or the other competitors that we saw on the other market share graph. Partnered with several national organisations, see on page 8, for those business services. Why don't we find some more? Why don't we increase that revenue stream as an opportunity? In terms of the Net Promoter Score now, this is measured on the customer satisfaction and loyalty rating. In other words, the higher the better. And Beago actually got better in the last year from 2002 to 2003. And a key change for you to note down is the industry average actually dropped on there. So you can see it dropped from 37 to 36, but Beago actually went from 37 up to 38. So they have done something positively on there. We might get a few more details on the exam day about it, but are worth noting as a positive from a customer perspective. And last but by no means least, we've got the drivers on there for a driver satisfaction graph. And you can see it's on a downward trajectory. It's still over 60% satisfied, but it's been dropping the last 3 years running. And we had that fact about if it's less than 80%, the driver must provide an explanation. It was on the previous page. So why is this happening? What is going wrong with the drivers? And again, something from an ethical trade union perspective we could get on your exam day. And that, ladies and gentlemen, takes you through my full analysis for your September 2024 SBL exam. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any other videos on the channel. Click the link in the description below to access these exclusive notes. You can download them yourself and check out those Astranti mock papers and packs to help you be those little differences to get you that pass. And what I've done as well is I've put a few videos for SBL above. Make sure you click one of those. I'll see you on the other side now, and best of luck with your exam.